What's up, guys? Y'all should be able to hear me now. I think I got everything lined out. If you can't hear me good, let me know. Yeah, it was a good show tonight. You could tell it was very uh, kind of emotional for him. It seemed like there's no telling what's going on though, man. All right, awesome, awesome. Well, we got plenty of stuff we can go through. Uh, just depends on what you guys want to do. We have the plane crash today that killed the NASCAR driver. Yeah, I know. I saw that. Renee, yeah, sad. We got, oh, hit the like button, please. It'll help us with the algorithm, kind of boost us a little bit. We have Eric Kirkwill did a speech about 19 minutes long at TPUSA, which I know everybody's sick of that shit. Um, what else do we got? Yeah, yeah, and I believe his whole family was with him. So that's very tragic. Tragic. I need to check one thing quick. Um, yeah, it's horrible. Yes, I can. Um, uh, yeah, it's see, I didn't know the man. I'm not a big race car fan. Yeah, I hear you, David. But I'm not a big NASCAR guy, so I just don't know the dude. That's a weird path. Yeah, I have a friend. He's really into it, man. They've gone to the what is it, Talladega or whatever, where you camp out and they party. It's a whole weekend long party. Yeah, they do all that. The skills channel, kick it back up. Um, there we go. What else did we have? Trump signed an order for. He did not legalize weed, but he did make it to where they can now study it. Um, I don't know if y'all are interested in that story or not, but um, Tylenol with codeine, though, it's still relatively a blurry line. I would rather them have just descheduled it. Just just deschedule it. It's a plant. If you grow it, you grow it. If you don't, you don't. But anyway, it's a step in the right direction. I think it's going to allow a lot of big companies to get rich. So because if there's money to be made, they're going to do it. Whichever other companies make it than the damn narco terrorists or all that, the cartel shipping it in across the border. Let's see. Dan Bongino's leaving. He's going back, I guess, to his podcast, which was like the #1 podcast uh, when he left. I think he was #1, but yeah, everything as far as the weed goes, from everything I've been hearing, they're just taxing the shit out of it everywhere. Um, that's what I was going to check. Couldn't get my browser open right. They're taxing it so high, they're making it next to impossible to afford. So it's cheaper to go to the black market. So yeah. Well, I know like in say Missouri, when I go up there, it's legal. It's pretty damn expensive. Now you go to Oklahoma, it's legal there too. The guy in Missouri told me the dispensary's there, but you have to have an Oklahoma medical card. But it's like a third cheaper. So, well, yeah, but like I'm in Texas, you can't do that. Nothing's. They got away with Delta 8 here. What else they got away with? THCA, whatever that is. I'm not real familiar with it, and I have my little vape pen here, but um, I mean, I like it, but I'm not into it super big. I know I'm not a fan of that spice crap they had for a long time. It made a lot of people lose their mind, whatever that was. They called it spice or potpourri or something like that. So it's pretty crazy. One thing in Texas they're arguing about big time is letting them do. It's not so much use the use, but they're wanting them to not let them make gummies. They're not going to be able to allow to make like they're wanting them. They haven't done it yet, but they don't want you to be able to make gummies or candies or suckers, stuff like that that would attract kids to the product. So if that's as big a deal they want to make out of it, okay. And then 10 years from now, that'll change too. So, but if you believe this, Texas still gambling is, you can't go to a casino in Texas. So all the people in Texas go to either Oklahoma or fly to Vegas. Yeah, K2 was the name of it. Fly to Vegas or go to Louisiana to gamble. And all that money leaves the state basically because of our elderly population. And as they're dying off, the laws are changing. So now we do have, and I consider it gambling. We have a Texas Lotto, and then we have the Powerball thing. I think it's like nationwide. But I can be in a casino in 2 hours, either way from me, north or uh, the east. I'm about I'm about 2 hours from Shreveport. In Shreveport, they have what they call the riverboat gambling. You got to be on the river, and it's just a technicality, but I they've been getting away with it for you know as long as I can remember. a good 30 years or so. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna put this over on X real quick. Um, but yeah, but think about all the revenue that Texas loses because of that, though. You know, not just the gambling revenue, but the hotel stays overnight, the people that work at the gas stations, the all your food service, stuff like that. So it comes down to it, it's quite a bit. All right, I shared it on Facebook and on X. Huh? We'll see what happens. Yeah, well, Oklahoma, they're on the Indian reservations. It's tied into the Indian tribes. Um, I think that was part of their settlement whenever they settled the land and all that. They were allowed to have casinos. I know it's like a joke to some or whatever, but no, that's how it is up there. Louisiana is just basically you got to be on the river. It's riverboat gambling. Um, Now they might have built a 30-story hotel right in front of that riverboat, connected by a little tiny covered bridge, but technically you're on the river. So let's see. Yeah, Bongino left. Let's see the weed thing. I don't know what Erica Kirk said at Amerifest. You guys tell me, are you interested in seeing it or not? We'll go, it's up for. I mean, there ain't that many of us, so it's up for a group vote. See or no? Cafes. Well, I know Atlanta's big about gambling in Georgia, but I don't know who owns those. Well, hell, I think Trump owned one of them there for a while. Maybe in the one that went bankrupt. And then I'm trying to figure out what the hell this disclosure day is about. I even watched the trailer. I can't tell if they're announcing there's aliens or I mean it's a lady gonna do the weather and she starts well hell I'll just show you. She starts freaking out. 1 second.
Meet Jan. She's enjoying a beautiful day outdoors with friends and family. She's also managing her type 2 diabetes by taking.
So that is definitely different. Definitely different. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's going on. But that's why it's a trailer. It makes you curious. All that clicking at the very end reminds me of that ASMR or whatever it's called, people. sitting there clicking and all that crap. Oh, wow. Well, yeah, I saw something about Bill Gates, some pictures released of Bill Gates with the Epstein thing, and also with something about was it Monty Python? Oh no, I don't want to say it. No, maybe it was. All involved in the Epstein thing. Let me look. I don't want to get it totally wrong because I probably did. But who was it? Bill Gates and the shooter they found dead in a storage unit. Oh, let's just real quick. While I'm looking for the story, I'll show you that one. I don't know if y'all heard that or not. Talk about it's one way to get rid of the evidence, I guess. You kill the patsy. Not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying.
When you're a full-time parent with a full-time job.
We have a Fox News alert. A high-placed source has just told Fox News that the suspected shooter was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Let's bring back in Paul Mara. Paul, obviously a huge development just broke while you were explaining beautifully what your opinion. So we know that the suspected shooter went into the facility. Those brave law enforcement officers followed him in there. We didn't know until this moment what if he had even remained in there, gone in his unit, exited the building. But Paul, we're now told by a highly placed source that they have found the suspected shooter dead, apparently from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. What's your reaction?
Well, first of all, not an uncommon occurrence in these sort of situations, but this is unfortunately not going to be the end, because now you got to do all the investigation, and one of the things you really want to make sure of is that he is the only person you have to worry about. In this day and age, because of encrypted comms and the way that you can set up your apps to be unretrievable by law enforcement, you don't get as fulsome a picture as you used to be able to get to a person's network. So now the work begins of ascertaining, did he act alone? Was he completely a lone wolf, or was he working with other people here? I know the supposition is that he was working alone, and you hope that's the case, but right now we don't entirely know. And you don't have him to interrogate, you don't have him to maybe cut a plea deal with if he's going to a prosecution. So the long night is still going to be a long night.
And Paul, we're also being told now that Paul, I wanted to add to the breaking news with another piece of breaking news. I'm being told by our team here at Fox News that the suspected shooter was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in his storage unit. So 5 minutes ago, when you and I started this conversation, we were...
Yeah, it'll probably be reported that, much like the Clintons, what happened with them, he probably shot himself in the head 6 times, and that's what did it. It was that 6th bullet in the head.
We weren't even sure he was in there, that the law enforcement had breached, and of course they bravely did, and they found him dead of a self-inflicted gunshot. Paul, I think that the folks are seeing you in Providence, Rhode Island. Your day started out talking about Brown University. Somehow we've ended up in Salem, New Hampshire. We're also talking about the professor at MIT. Can you knit all this together for us, please, Paul Morrow?
Oof, I wish I could do that easily. I mean, I do know this. Providence Police Department was on the scene at the storage location. So if in fact the storage location and that perpetrator is also linked to MIT, which is part of the reporting, then you have it all coming together. Whether or not those two incidents are linked, that is Brown and MIT, I think has yet to be explained. I've never heard that the ballistics match. The only thing that does seem to link them is the car. Now the reporting is that the car might have had multiple license plates. That is, as part of his MO here, he switched the plates on the car, and that's why I talk about he seems to have been planning it. If that's the case, he was a lot less smart than he thought he was. And, you know, I've made this point before on the air. A lot of these guys, they think they're very clever, but when you're coming up institutionally these days against the whole of law enforcement, all these agencies, all this institutional knowledge, it was a matter of time, and that's why I've been saying for the last couple of days, they're going to get him. I just hope they got the only one, because now that's the real question you want.
That's right. In a mind like yours, with experience like yours, Paul Mara, you would be thinking exactly that way. Stay with us, please.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it.
They're going to believe it. Hook, line, and sinker, guarantee you. Why would they not? They believed every other conspiracy they've thrown out. I mean, look at what happened down in Australia. Same thing, you know. They pick this guy out. They do what they do to him. I just make a video of it being him walking down the sidewalk, kind of chubby. You know, there's no way to know these days. And I'm talking about even with the technology that we have access to. Imagine what they have access to. So. You know, I see the Rob Reiner thing and his son. I don't know what his son's drug of choice was. What was his addiction? Was it cocaine? Was it meth? I mean, obviously he probably had access to money, so that don't mean nothing. Whitney Houston smoked crack, so go figure.
Anything just by
Speech this is real quick.
Every speaker video, and he would tell the team, louder, more bass.
Cheerleading session. We had put this together, didn't it? American Express Black Card, yeah, exactly. I think it may be a big reason why Bongino's deciding to leave. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but maybe he's just seen that it's just so corrupt that he needs to go out and make as much money as he can for him and his family, his future. Make enough money for him and his kids and his kids, you know.
Harvard professor and astrophysicist.
We left down there. Let's see what Abby has to say today, since it's the day right next to when the comet is supposed to be next, or supposed to be here. It sounds like it's going to be loud, so
Don't settle for less. Here's what others are doing to fix missing and broken teeth. The company everyone has been raving about is
Harvard professor and astrophysicist Avi Loeb joins me. Nice to see you, sir. Where is this from if it's not from our solar system?
Well, it's from somewhere else in the Milky Way galaxy. We live in a galaxy of 100 billion stars, and who knows where it came from? We don't know how long was the journey.
Well, we didn't spot it until July. I act like I was out there spotting it, but it wasn't spotted until July. So is it because we weren't paying attention, because it's at 137,000 miles per hour or some ridiculously fast speed? Why did we just learn about it?
Oh, because objects are very faint when they are far from the sun. They are getting fainter inversely with distance to the fourth power. And this object entered the solar system, the outskirts, at 100,000 times the Earth-Sun separation 8,000 years ago, when human history started to be documented. That's when it entered the solar system. But we noticed it only this year. And it looked quite unusual in the sense that it flies through the plane of the planets around the sun. And it also has an anti-tail. Unlike the cometary tails that we are used to, there is a jet pointed towards the sun. We saw it from the start, we see it right now, and the question is, why is this jet going out to about 1 million kilometers in the direction of the sun? And it's sort of different from what we have seen before around comets.
How big is it?
We don't know exactly, but it's roughly the size of Manhattan Island. We don't have a close-up photograph of it. And of course, that would have nailed the nature of the object if we had it. You know, if we saw a rock, an iceberg, we could immediately conclude that it originated from the vicinity of a star by a natural process. If we saw, on the other hand, a spacecraft that has buttons on it, the question would have arisen as to whether we should press a button.
How long have we known that it's not going to collide with Earth?
Oh, since the beginning, it was clear that if you calculate the path of this object, it will just, as a result of the sun's gravity, get deflected a little bit by about 16 degrees, not much. And indeed, we saw that. But it has a slight correction to its course, a non-gravitational acceleration, not significant, but tomorrow it will get closest to Earth at a distance of 269 million kilometers. And the only question that remains is whether, if it's technological, whether it will release any objects that will arrive close to us. Otherwise, it may just be a very unusual rock.
Are we going to get a especially good look at it tomorrow? I mean, is it close enough so that we can get anything? I mean, what do you want to learn?
Oh, yeah, because tonight is actually a new moon. And that's an unusual coincidence. So the dark sky overhead will not be contaminated by moonlight, and there will be hundreds of observatories around the globe looking at it. We also, I hope, we will have an image from the Webb telescope. So altogether, the fun of doing science, it's like the work of a detective. The more data we have, the better. And we shouldn't assume anything and just try to explain what we see.
All right, I'll tell you what I think is odd, among other things, is it's the 3-Eye Atlas. So I looked, I thought, well, why would you name something the 3-Eye Atlas? And I looked it up and learned what. But one of the things is that the 3 comes to, it's the third confirmed interstellar object ever detected. The first one in 2017 and the second one in 2019. Well, I think, are they the only 3 ever? Have there been some before? I mean, that to me made this so unique that this is only the third.
Oh, no. These 3 were observed over the past 8 years just because we built telescopes that survey the sky and can find them, because the US Congress tasked NASA to find 90% of all objects bigger than a football field. So then they built these survey telescopes and suddenly saw objects moving very fast. That's all. Obviously, over the history of the solar system, the Earth, there were billions of those. And right now, if any rock passes within, at random, within the orbit of the Earth around the sun, there should be a quadrillion of them at the same time within the solar system, 10 to the power 15. So clearly these are not the only 3. But the question is, we don't know how much traffic of unusual objects there is. This is only our 3rd date. It's just like going on a date and, seeing your first 3 and you don't know how unusual they
Okay.
are. And you know, some
Okay.
people get married after the first
So-
encounter, but it's really not the best approach to interpret the nature of the because there is no
All right, girl, see you
expert on
tomorrow.
interstellar object.
Have a
we
good
have
night.
only 3 in our sample.
We have 30 seconds left, so tell me what's going to happen to this after it passes by tomorrow, then what?
Then it will come closest to Jupiter on March 16, 2026. And it arrives exactly at the distance from Jupiter where Jupiter's gravity dominates over the Sun's gravity. So an interesting question is, did it target Jupiter to deploy some kind of a device there? Or maybe it's just a chance coincidence, and let's just wait and see.
Professor Avilov, thank you as always. People think news just happens. It doesn't. It happens
there you
because
go.
there's someone there to capture the moment.
He goes to the extremes. Well, it could be nothing. Could be a rock, nothing. Or it could start dropping probes out, you know. It could start shooting lasers from its eyes. Whatever. He has a very strange accent. I'd show you this case you haven't seen it. Because I think it's important. It's unfortunate because I think he's a good guy, but
At Capital Group, we take care when crafting our active ETFs so they can make a difference at the core of a portfolio. Because we don't fit molds, we prefer to cast originals. Capital Group, actively different, active ETFs.
there you go, Capital Group.
When you've got a classic ride, you need tools you trust. Whether you drive it every day,
I don't know if Kurt Mexican knows this, but Dan Bongino just quit the FBI.
First time I'm hearing it, Jimmy. Didn't know he actually did anything while he was there either, to be honest.
He didn't really do anything except deny that the Epstein files were real. The FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino resigns. Thank God, because that job was ruining him. It came very close to wrecking his reputation. I don't know if it is wrecked, but I don't know. You know, his
I wouldn't listen to a goddamn
his
thing he says.
his gaslighting about the Epstein files and that Epstein killed himself and all that stuff. Certainly his reputation's taken a hit, and I have a feeling that's why he's leaving, because it's just one lie after another, and I bet he refused to participate in the Charlie Kirk cover-up. I bet that's it. I bet he doesn't want to answer any questions about that, and this is an obvious FBI op, what happened with Charlie Kirk. Obvious. In fact, Candace Owens has some explosive new stuff that came out about the FBI. It's no doubt this was an FBI-involved conspiracy to murder Charlie Kirk.
How about J6 when they stitched up that?
Yeah, and they're doing nothing about.
Obviously, the kid that didn't do it, you could tell already.
They're not doing anything about January 6th. They're not going after the FBI people who did that. So it's time for him to get out. Here he is. Here's his tweet. He said, "I'll be leaving my position with the FBI in January. I want to thank President Trump, AG Bondi, and Director Patel." Fucking sick, dude. For the that's solving crimes and cashing dimes.
My girlfriend's killing it.
For the opportunity to serve with purpose. What was that purpose? The purpose was to gaslight people about Epstein.
You did it.
Already did it. Done. Now I'm leaving. Most importantly, I want to thank you, my fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve you. God bless America and all those who defend her. Well, at least he didn't say God bless Israel, because that's a good improvement. Anyway, I've always had a soft spot for Dan Bongino. I liked watching his show. I did.
Don Bongino?
Don Bongino.
Yeah.
I did, and I was excited when he became the deputy director, and I was hoping for big things, and it was a bit of a heartbreak to watch him gaslight about Epstein. It really was.
If it's any consolation, Jimmy, he was full of shit the whole time. If it's any consolation, he wasn't never on the side of right. He's always been an op.
Well, I guess, I don't know. We'll see. Dan Bongino's leaving the FBI. Well, here's what Trump has to say about it.
Oh, Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show. Yeah, I do.
I predict Kash Patel will be gone by the end of January. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. I predict Kash Patel is on his way out. They already got a new guy picked. Kash Patel's over, which is why he's doing podcasts and stuff now. He's trying
he
to
can finally move out of that guy's house and settle down with his hot, not a spy girlfriend.
That's right. MAGA voice says, "Dear Dan Bongino, thank you for your service and the great job you did at the FBI. We have your back." I don't know what they're referring to, but what MAGA voice is referring to, but good for you. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino says the findings from their deep state investigation have shaken him to his core, claiming the truth is darker and deeper than anyone imagined. What I've uncovered has changed me forever. This isn't how a republic survives. Only witnessing crimes against children can shake a man this deeply. Well, when did he say this?
Or if you're going back to your podcast and it's going to be great paywall content.
So this was July. He said this on my birthday of this year, July 26, 2025.
Well, thanks for keeping your trap shut, Dan, because if you were a patriot, you'd snitch. Real patriots, like Edward Snowden, have to go hide in Russia. You're going to just go back to podcasting, and you're not going to not make waves. That's what Dan Bongino is going to do.
DJ Calvis, but I think you're harsh. I think you're a little too hard on Dan Bongino.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
I think you're a little too hard on him. Bongino got all the way to the FBI and figured out who the deep state was and who was in the Epstein files, and now he's quitting.
Yeah.
LMFAO, which I think means laugh my effing A off.
You think Don's going to tell us what shook him to his core?
I don't think Don's going to tell us what shook him to his core. Dan Bongino saw the Epstein files and resigned. That's what Ryan Sheed says. 9 months he was there. Just 9 months. So yeah, maybe that's what shook him to his core, and he's like, I can't be part of this cover-up anymore, and I got to get F out.
We'll get the truth about that. The Epstein, we're not going to get the truth about the Brown University thing. Does anybody remember what happened in Las Vegas when they pew-pewed the whole crowd of people watching the country concert? What did we ever really hear about that? Other than it was a gun trade gone wrong or something. So the guy turned the gun into a crowd at a country music. Now Vegas is supposed to be empty. I mean, it's been years ago, but still. We never heard nothing about that. Definitively. I don't know. Now with them being able to do AI like they can, hell, they can just make up stuff. If they want to. Make a video and then they find your body in a storage unit. Go figure. Well, I bet tomorrow is all about the Atlas thing. Well, they say 270 something arrays will be turned that way looking at it. Of course, they'll be doing it in x-rays, they'll be doing it in infrared. There'll be all kinds of images and data coming in, but you know, they're saying, a lot of people are saying Joe Rogan's he's been captured basically by the deep state. I don't know if that's true or not. I know I've liked him for years, watching him do his all the way from I'm having a brain fart. They do all the crazy stunts when he was young. Now, I never was a news radio guy. Fear Factor. But I never was a news radio guy. But then, of course, I like his podcast. depending on who the guest is. Anthony Cumia, that guy's funny. I have to give him credit. He's a funny dude. He'll say some shit and go over some shit that this is 14 minutes ago. Let's just see what it's video or if it's just radio.
One question, Bob. Everyone's asking.
Yeah, that's just audio. Remember the Opie and Anthony days? I know it was shock and jock and all that, but a pretty funny guy. Is there anything else? This guy, I'll show you who he is. I ain't got nothing against him. I don't know if he knows who he's talking about or not. You guys can decide for yourself.
Get 3 months free of Amazon Music Unlimited.
Well, you're getting some super shots. There's quite a few people watching too. It's about 3 Atlas.
One of these dark sky observatories and figuring it out. I think that'd be fun. It would mean that I have good access to live observations anytime I want when it's nighttime there. And that could be really cool. That could be a new exploration for the channel. So I will give that some very serious thought. And if it works, I'll do it. But it's going to take a little bit of time. I have to find a good telescope for it. But I think that could be really cool. Thank you, Una, for the super thanks. And Witch Within, thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa. Do you think that we will have flares during the alignment with 3i Atlas? Sorry for the repeat. Well, the key for flares is that you have sunspots. And right now the sun's pretty quiet on the Earth-facing side. So if you go to today, go to the 19th now, like this. And let's take off Borisov. You'll see that the alignment between the Earth and Atlas is actually pretty close, okay? So you would need a sunspot here or anywhere in the zone to have a flare. We don't really have the sunspots right now. We have some, but not big ones, not unstable ones. So what we've been seeing is when big sunspots have rotated into view of these comets and interstellar object 3i Atlas, that's when we've seen activity at a higher rate. It's been very interesting the past couple months. It's been a great case study. I'm sure there's going to be some research done on that. Maybe I'll do it. I hope someone does it. But right now, even though we have this closest approach, we just don't really have tons of sunspots on the Earth-facing side. I mean, we can even load that up. We can give it a look. So let me pull up our solar data. And we'll load our continuum. This will just show it for the past 2 days or so. And I can switch this to be the red filter. And here we see our sun. I'm going to turn myself off. Here we see our sun, right? Right now, Earth is always aligned in the center of this. We don't have any sunspots there. We do have some roughly aligned with 3i Atlas, these guys, but 3i Atlas is more up here. These guys are further south. And there has been some small C flares, but nothing crazy. But we don't have a big monster sunspot right now. We would have to go back to like the beginning of December to see something like that.
Something
That's
else on it.
quite a ways back.
He's not
If we do
doing a whole
this
lot.
really
This
quick.
is Clayton Morris on Redacted about the.
Well, a couple 100,000 years ago, 3I Atlas, according to the sources we've spoken to, has been in this solar system and is now about to return on December 19th for the first time in a couple 100,000 years. Of course, it was all tied to what was then on Mars, caverns on Mars. You should look into it. It's pretty interesting stuff. And it's about to hit here on December 19th. It will be the closest point to Earth since that point a couple 100,000 years ago. And all of this is happening right as today we got a new trailer from Steven Spielberg for his new film called All Will Be Disclosed. That is the new film. You can see billboards popping up all over the place. June 12th, 2026. These are all over Times Square today. And here's just a little piece of this new trailer about disclosure. Watch. So Ron James is the director of media relations, the Mutual UFO Network, and he is joining us now. Ron, great to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me again.
So the timing of all of this is really interesting. I'm going to get the Steven Spielberg documentary or a new film dropping concurrently with what's about to happen with 3I Atlas on Friday. So first, just from the Mutual UFO Network stance on this, what are you looking for? What can we expect on Friday with 3I Atlas? And what is it for our audience that maybe is new to this subject?
Well, 3IA Atlas is going to be passing Earth at its closest point on December 19th. And terrestrial amateur astronomers are able to get pictures, the best ones that we've gotten yet. And as much as we want it to be some kind of extraterrestrial event, the traditional scientists still think that it's just an unusual comet and an unusual natural astral body, but still an astral body. I personally think that there's a lot of potential for it to be something more. And certainly if you were going to send a probe into the neighborhood of a civilization that can see into the stars, you would probably want to disguise it. So after all this time that we've been looking at this thing, we still don't know what it is, and nobody has been able to disprove some of the claims that people like Avi Loeb are making, although he does caution that, you know, with everything that we think it might be, it's still probably just a comet. And MUFON believes that it's probably just a comet. We did a deep analysis about it and sent it out to everybody on our newsletter, and I think you guys have a copy of it now.
Yeah. I've spoken to insiders who are involved in the secret space program, members of the military who have multiple times been to the underground bases, the arcs that are sat off the coast of Puerto Rico. One of them just now moved off the coast of Venezuela. They're scattered all over the earth, and also the moon base. And these sources have been saying Avi Loeb is correct, although not specifically on 100% on the accuracy of what it could be, but that this is returning to our solar system. It was here 100,000 years ago, a couple 100,000 years ago, and it's tied to Mars and the caverns that are on Mars. Maybe you can talk about some of the stuff about Mars, because some of the drawings and stuff that I've been seeing from insiders who've sent me these things point to some very interesting things happening on Mars.
Well, MUFON likes to stick to the scientific investigation of the phenomenon for the betterment of humanity. And the stories that we hear about secret space programs, bases on Mars, solar warden spaceships out patrolling the solar system, although they're interesting, we can't say that we give them any kind of provable credibility. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean that there's not something to these stories, because where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think that there's a lot of evidence that Mars was once a living, thriving planet, and people that have been doing research like Dr. John Brandenburg, who says that there's certain radioactive isotopes on Mars that could only be put there from some kind of a nuclear war. So the history of Mars is a mystery. I'm not surprised that they finally found life on Mars. I believe they found it back in 1976 when they launched Viking and just didn't tell us the truth about it. And, you know, the idea that 3A Atlas is going by Mars, perhaps dropping some terraforming dust along the way, interacting with technology that's long been buried on that planet, it certainly has its appeal.
You know, if you look at the Billy Meyer materials, which, you know, this might be a bridge too far for some people. It's not for me because I'm open to anything. So just show me the evidence. And Billy Meyer on June 16th of 1987 talked specifically about Mars and said that there's a lot of water on Mars under the surface, mostly ice, close to the surface, near the South Pole, and said there's special importance in this regard to the South Pole. I'm quoting now, and that this will one day be used by Earth to one day colonize Mars. So he said that in 1987, and then of course it was corroborated finally in 2001 with the Mars Odyssey missions, and then March 2002, 2002 it detects evidence of water ice. It's in exactly where Billy Meyer said it would be. So there's a lot of mysteries on Mars that I don't know how 3i Atlas is tied to it. I don't know, but I'm definitely fascinated by it. It's certainly curious that Elon Musk wants to go there and colonize it.
Well, I think that Mars represents the best opportunity for getting a human colony off planet. And I think the more we discover Mars and the more we explore it, we're going to find verifiable evidence of past civilizations on Mars. I think that's quite likely. I think that there's already significant evidence that there's been structures on Mars that have been long destroyed, and who knows what's going on under the ground. But I think Mars is going to be the gift that keeps on giving, and I think the more we actually involve ourselves with Mars, the more we're going to find out about our own history.
So on Friday, it'll be at its closest point to Earth. Because a bunch of people in our chat room are asking, will you be able to see it with the naked eye? What sort of telescopes will you need to be able to use? Will you be able to see it with the naked eye if you're in an area that doesn't have a lot of light pollution?
I haven't been told that you will. It's still far enough away and small enough that it's going to take some sort of reasonably good telescope to really see it.
At MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, you guys handle a lot of eyewitness accounts of UFO and paranormal activity and have to catalog it. You send researchers out to kind of confirm it through scientific evidence, if there's some sort of a crop circle or other like physical material and other things. So you do a lot of work to try to bring science behind it and catalog all of it. There's quite a few people that are pointing to Steven Spielberg's new film, which of course the trailer just dropped, in this new disclosure movement that we're seeing. We just saw the documentary Age of Disclosure, of course, as well. You guys have a brand new documentary as well. Maybe you can talk about that. And are we moving towards disclosure? And here's Accidental Truth. Let's put that up on the screen. And, there it is, Beyond UFO Disclosure.
I'm Peggy. From jungles to icebergs and ruined cities, I seek out hidden treasure.
So,
yes. That's the sequel to my film Accidental Truth that came out in 2020. It's still spoken of as one of the best UFO documentaries. And in Accidental Truth Next, we're going beyond UFO disclosure, because at some point, we're going to be acknowledging that we are in the presence of a non-human intelligence of many different varieties, and we have to start thinking about the nuts and bolts of how that affects us moving forward.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, because we have Steven Spielberg, the movie coming out, and it's all this drip feed. You know, this all happens, right? It's all happening for a reason, I believe, and those I've talked to inside believe that this is coming as well. So we're getting this disclosure. Likely, maybe we'll see it in 2026. It seems like we're moving in that direction. So once that happens, like once the people that are like, oh, I'll never believe this, and then that ship has sailed, once that has happened, how do we handle it?
Well, we have to have mechanisms in place to deal with it. And the thing that's going to be the most difficult about disclosure, especially if it goes far enough to really tell us what's going on, we're not just dealing with beings from outer space. We're dealing with interdimensional beings. We're dealing with beings that live in places that we don't even have a way to fathom right now. We're possibly dealing with beings that have been here on the Earth, inside the Earth, and out of our sight for a very long time. And it's not so simple as just to say there's an extraterrestrial from another planet and they're visiting us. It plugs into our consciousness, the whole nature of reality, the spiritual teachings that we've been given since we were able to record writing, and it all fuses together in what is going to be a whole new way that we have to look at our existence, the nature of our reality in itself. So it's going to be core questions that have to be answered on an individual basis. It's not just, hey, we're not alone in the universe. That's the easy part, actually.
Right. And how do we harness this technology for both good? And I know there's going to be people that want to use this technology for bad, which many of them have already been doing, as we've highlighted here on the show. So it's very concerning, right? And, you know, it's funny, and not funny, but it's sad. We've thousands of years. I mean, go back to cave paintings. There are a few of them here. I mean, there's just a few examples throughout history, long before video, long before phones, long before any of that. We go back, you know, thousands of years with cave paintings of UFOs and all of that, going back many, many thousands of years. So this is not like a new phenomenon.
It's not. These beings have been with us for really all of recorded history, and may even have a hand in our genetic engineering and how we became the efficient human beings that we are, with this really fantastic physical design that seems to work really well. What's interesting is that we're coming full circle. The people that are having encounters today, especially the so-called experiencers, people that are having individual encounters with these beings who are telling them things, are being told the same things that we've been told as a species by non-human intelligence for a very long time, be it angels, demons, gods, messiahs. The message is the same, and it's basically become peaceful, wake up, embrace your spirituality, and you'll be able to move forward in a way that enables you to become part of a galactic family. And if you can't do that, then we're probably not going to get let off the planet, and we're headed for self-destruction. So no matter what the face of the message is, the message is largely the same throughout history.
When you look at, I'll get you out of here on this, I'm always curious what MUFON is cataloging lately, as you guys have that central database. Have there been, in the past few weeks, has there been one or two big sightings that you've just been stunned by? Has there been anything that's happened that you want to share?
I don't have anything that recent, because I don't think we've had anything that really just jumps out. But what we...
Anyway, that gives you the idea. So, I don't know. What was that show called? Well, there's actually two shows. Ender's Game. That was about an insect colony from a different galaxy or whatever coming across and attacking the Earth that we defeated in what was it, Ender's War or Ender's Game? Ender's Game, I think it was. They were huge bugs, and what they were searching for was water. They had used up all their natural resources. They were coming for our water. But and there was another show that had to do with bugs. Starship Troopers. I don't know, I think they made two of them. Those were also attacked by bugs. So it's weird how those two main movies, the aliens were actually bugs. So oh, dude, if you haven't watched that, you need to. It's actually a pretty good flick. I have it on that Voodoo Fandango crap. But yeah, it's a good, it make you think anyway. Especially the way you just have to watch it and let me know what you think. I don't want to give it away, because it's a good show. No, yeah, no, they're not all grays. That's right. Especially, you know, I think the grays, and then they got the lizards. I don't know. I think there's something to be said about what's going on down in Antarctica, though. Do I know? Hell no. Do I think there's something? Yeah. Why do we not go there? We hadn't even really explored our own oceans that much. There could be dinosaurs living at the bottom of the ocean for all we know. Oh yeah, it's off limits, I know. There's got to be a reason why. I mean, we know why Area 51 is, allegedly. And then the Maduro said he's not going to stop shipping oil, so that could escalate quickly. Who knows? Well, they got a lot of people that do that ASMR stuff. That is so different. Yeah, they were talking about Synchrotron, talking about them wanting to redo the Married with Children. That would be so funny if they would redo it again. That was actually a very good show. But I don't know if you can make it these days. You know, they'd have to have almost like, it would have to be almost like an interstate system, like airlines and ships. You know, the ships all go pretty much the same way across the ocean. They all follow each other. And it's like, you know, if you're on a cruise ship, you'll pass oil tankers, shipping container. I mean, they run within a few miles of each other. I think a lot of reason for safety. Planes, you know, they get above the weather to try and get the jet stream to save fuel and so forth. But they all pretty much fly in a lane. They would have to make so many different rules. I mean, like helicopters, they can only go so high. They have to stay above and below. I don't know. It could be a logistical nightmare. Unless AI is flying it. And in that case, it will know everything everywhere in the sky. And that's probably what's going to end up being. It'll end up being an AI vehicle. I mean, they're already making them AI, drone taxis. It's basically a glass bubble you get in, and it's a drone. It picks you up, carries you around New York, drops you off, whatever, you know. It's crazy. So, I don't know, man. There's no telling. Yeah, you never know. They can do so much. Of course, it all depends on how much money you got, too, what you can get. Oh, Tucker spoke at TPUSA. I didn't know that. Did y'all know that? I have no idea what he said. Stars that can get bigger. Since this storm is about to cause big problems. And like Renee said, it's already, just to get bad up there where she lives anyway. But New York, I imagine that's just, and I couldn't stand the winters up there. I can see why they have snowbirds that just go to Florida for the winter. Just to get the hell out of there. Yeah, you basically tell it you want to go from where you're at to a certain point, and it'll chart it and graph it, and that also depends on the speed. There was always you had a light speed theory, and you went into warp drive. How do you stop at the exact point without stopping in the middle of a star? Stuff like that. So. Way above my pay grade. Oh yeah, look at this. This is crazy. Now, this is supposedly real animals in the ocean. Okay? You're going to think it's
And they haven't worked?
Beneath the surface of our oceans lies a world we were never meant to see. A realm where light dies and life takes on forms that shouldn't be possible. As we descend deeper, crossing the sunlight zone, then the twilight zone, then the midnight zone, the creatures we encounter turn progressively stranger. We've sent rovers to Mars, we've mapped distant galaxies, but the deep sea? We've explored less than 5% of it. We know more about the surface of the moon than we do about what's happening 6,000 feet below our own oceans. At the surface, the ocean is bright and full of life. Sunlight fuels plankton blooms, which feed fish, which feed entire food chains stretching from coral reefs to whales. But drop below 200 meters, and that light begins to fade. We are now entering the twilight zone, a vast belt of ocean stretching down to 1 kilometer deep. Here, the sun's rays are too weak for photosynthesis. The forests of plankton vanish. There are no plants, no green energy. Only the slow snowfall of particles drifting from above. Tiny fragments of plankton, waste, and the remains of the dead. Scientists call it marine snow. To us, it looks insignificant. To the creatures here, it is life itself. And where there is food, there is life. But not life as we know it. The animals of the Twilight Zone have evolved into some of the strangest forms on Earth. Many are transparent, their bodies like glass. The glass squid drifts with organs barely visible, a ghost against the blue. The glass octopus is almost invisible, its eyes the only solid feature. Why so many species take on transparency here is still a mystery. It may be camouflage, a way to vanish in the faintest light. Or perhaps a way to conserve energy in a world where every pigment costs more than it gives back. Others choose the opposite strategy, not invisibility, but light. In the gloom, some creatures create their own glow through a chemical reaction known as bioluminescence.
Really more
to us,
scary than
it's
space.
dazzling, flashing dots, glowing patterns, entire bodies flickering like lanterns. But here, light is survival. Some use it to lure prey, some to find a mate, and some to disappear. This trick is called counter-illumination. From below, predators can spot a dark silhouette against the faint shimmer above. To hide, animals like the firefly squid cover their bellies with light-producing organs. They adjust the brightness to perfectly match the glow from the surface, erasing their outline and vanishing into the background.
Camouflage.
It is camouflage by imitation,
There you go.
making light to disappear into light.
Let's go, boys! One thing I've noticed about football fans is they all talk like the players.
Anyway, yeah, y'all can see the video name. That's crazy shit, man. So we'll worry about what's above our head, but I mean, look at what's in our oceans. We don't even know. I mean, how many of them creatures have you seen before? 3 or 4 of them, maybe. And that was a few minutes of the video. That thing was 45 minutes long. So yeah. Look at, they found life where the underneath the ocean where they have those cracks where the lava flows out. It's thousands of degrees hot. But there's bacteria and viruses that live there. I think it's bacteria. And they live in that extreme heat. Yeah, exactly. You know, and they thrive. So I don't know, it's crazy stuff. I think it's very interesting. I'm not going to pretend like I understand it all. Now this is several days old, but it's kind of cool looking, so I'll play it for you guys because it's cool looking. I'm in Texas, so we get these all the time. But I always think it's neat to find good footage.
It's coming down. Here it goes.
It's on the road right now.
It is on the road. Holy cow.
I had one goal this day. Put my camera probe in the path of a tornado.
Let's go, let's go! I gotta go, we gotta get out of here. Get out of here! Oh my God! Insane tornado!
Even though the tornado misses the probe, I could still potentially deploy a second time, since the tornado was still going.
Get bigger.
Incredible tornado! Holy crap! That might be Tony. Holy crap. Oh my god! It's right there! Alright, the probe is fine. The probe is fine. It's right here. It's right here. Oh my god! Let's go! It's roaring!
We turn around to try for another deployment.
Unless you have a story, you don't have a way to persuade people.
Take your commercials.
This is insane. It might be starting to rope.
However, it looks like the tornado is roping out, but it's really just getting started.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. No. Thing is violent.
That is insane.
Oh, in the field. In the frickin' field, man. Shoot that close. Dude, I'm getting in on the field. Oh my God. Chris, it's coming back north. We might be able to intercept it. We'd have to go right now, though.
Right as we're about to move, the tornado does something incredible.
Oh, look at the inner core. Chris, we can intercept this. Oh, and that's too late now. Let's get closer. Let's get closer. Oh my God.
Good night.
What is that?
Feel better.
What the heck is that? I have never seen that before.
Oh, that's crazy.
Bro, what is that? Oh my God. Oh, with the lightning. It's gonna cross the road. Here, let's go, let's go. Let's go.
That one's kind of funky. Usually they're just straight. You don't have that twist in them like that zigzag.
Oh my freaking Lord.
We race to catch back up with the tornado.
It's coming back to the road. We can get extremely close to it. It's gonna hit these traces if they don't move.
Look at that supercell above it, where it's coming out of.
Here, let me get out.
Huge cloud.
I've never seen anything like this. This is insane. That inner core. That inner core. All right, we got to get around these guys.
Guys
that is a
what
violent
the hell
tornado.
Are you doing, man?
Yeah,
Why are you coming
man.
towards that thing? Everybody else is staying the hell back.
It's moving pretty hard to the left. Oh God, these guys got to move. This is not good. We got to be ready to move. We got to be ready to move. This is not good, guys. It's turning hard to the left. This is not good. We got to move. No, it's coming. Don't hit the road, please. Do not hit the road. Don't hit the road.
They're gonna pass the cops though.
All right, we got to be ready to move south. Yeah, get ready, to move it.
The cops will say, "Screw you! I don't care what you do. You're on your own, buddy."
It's still moving from right to left.
The tornado quickly turns towards the road with dozens of other storm chasers on it. This was a worst case scenario.
Don't hit the road. It's fine. I'm not deploying on that. No, it's too dangerous. Here it comes. It's going for the road. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, please move, guys, move.
Getting close.
Before we see what happens when the tornado crosses the road, I'd like to briefly tell you about the sponsor of this video, ZocDoc. As a storm chaser, my schedule can be extremely hectic. And I hate to admit it, moment of truth, the tornado was going to hit the road.
Oh my God, look up that thing. There it goes. Crossing the road right in front of us.
That is a violent tornado.
It's gonna take out the power lines.
I could not believe what my eyes were seeing.
Oh my God.
That'd be very, very intense. Your adrenaline would be like maxed out. Or mine would be.
It's stationary. Inch crawl, you can inch a little bit closer.
All right.
God.
Looks like it's just kind of sitting there right now. It must be moving on the road. That's why it looks like it's moving at all.
Holy, that is a violent tornado, man.
It's just stalled right on the road.
Zoom in on it right now. It is on the freaking road. The tornado stops on the road, putting on a show for everyone to watch. That is the most incredible tornado I've ever seen.
Look at that pole bending.
Move over left, move over to the left. Dominator's gonna try to go in it.
That's too dangerous. That is a freaking violent tornado. Thankfully, nobody is hit by the tornado as it crosses the road.
Wow.
It's over the lake, holy crap.
We're sucking up water.
Look at that.
This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I got damn fish in that water.
We danced with the tornado, following close behind, getting within a few hundred yards.
Look at that. We can get closer.
Famous last words of the fool. We can get closer.
That is violent.
Violent tornado.
This is like Manchester, dude.
All the storm chasers try to get as close as possible to the tornado, enhancing the view.
Oh, look up. I'm looking up.
That is amazing.
That is a violent tornado. This is insane. Let me zoom out. You gotta get all that. That's insane. Holy crap. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Oh my God, it's ripping the trees apart.
This tornado was not just an incredible sight, it was also extremely loud.
I can hear it. I have never heard anything like that before.
Look at trees.
Listen to that. I'm sticking my camera out the window. I want to be able to hear it.
Chance.
That is a violent tornado. That is a violent tornado. Keep going, keep going. It smells like fish. It smells like lake water. It's because it's cut up earth. God. Is there a road right here? I don't know. This is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life.
We raced to catch up with the tornado, still trying for that second probe intercept.
All right, we got to get around these trees. This is
That's
dangerous.
cool.
Yeah, just do it, do
I don't want to just sit and play the whole thing. That is neat. Wow. Hopefully they got very well reimbursed for probably working for some college or something like that. Working off grant money or oh, Jason Momoa's I don't even know what I'm looking at yet, so I'm just gonna play it. I'll see it with you guys. I just see Jason Momoa or whatever his name is. It's a Marvel movie.
Known for pursuing your passions. No one wants to be known for cancer.
You managed to get most of it on the paper this time. Good job, buddy.
Let's be honest, babe, it's not a very high bar to clear.
I didn't know any of you were still alive. What was it like to lose everything in a day?
Okay, this does not look like this is gonna end well. For you guys.
What's Superman like?
He sees the good in everyone. And I see the truth.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. James Gunn and DC dropped a brand new Supergirl trailer. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references here to the Woman of Tomorrow comic book that it's based on, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I know there's going to be all kinds of questions about Jason Momoa's Lobo and what his future is in the DCU, what's happening with Brainiac during the events of this movie, how does it set up Superman 2, Man of Tomorrow, so we'll try to address all that during the video. Jason Momoa using Lobo's powers of regeneration to regenerate himself from the DCEU as Aquaman into the DCU as Lobo. Yet another confluence of all my interests all aligning together because Jason Momoa played Khal Drogo on the original Game of Thrones series, and Millie Alcock was actually cast as Supergirl after James Gunn got the idea when he saw her during House of the Dragon Season 1 as the young version of Rhaenyra.
That little miniature human being from House of the Dragon.
Their characters in the Game of Thrones universe lived during completely different parts of the timeline, though, so they never actually met inside the Game of Thrones universe on screen. But it does kind of feel like a spiritual Game of Thrones reunion. Plays across the entire trailer. As you see him stumble across all the bottles, like it's just a complete mess, basically a disaster site, and he walks over the newspaper with Superman after an adventure of him saving this nuclear reactor from exploding recently. Zoom and enhance, it seems like this is meant to be after the events of the Superman movie. You also notice the smaller article about Supergirl saving cats out of trees. That's a reference to Christopher Reeve's Superman saving cats out of trees. In the context of the story, though, when this picks up, it's just meant to be a reference to her not being as great as Superman. Like she hasn't been doing as great deeds as Superman, so people don't view her in the same way. Throughout the actual for this movie, because this is meant to be a much younger version of Superman, so in the comic book, he'd actually been active for a much longer period, so he'd had way more adventures across space and the cosmos.
You managed to get most of it on the paper this time.
But I do love the way they have this sly reference to Christopher Reeve's Superman that they bake into this. Of course it is the Daily Planet, as in he's going to the bathroom on the newspaper of Superman's article. The whole reason why she's hungover is because they are in a system with a red sun and she is partying, as they mentioned at the end of the Superman movie. When you actually see her at a certain point during the trailer where you actually see them make it back near a yellow sun and she gets her powers back and she starts flying around. Also when you see her using her heat vision. That's actually a pretty good way of tracking the trailer and where they are in the cosmos, because for a lot of the story in the comics, they spent a lot of it near red suns. It's only for a little while that they're under yellow suns and she actually has her powers. For a lot of the story, when they're chasing after Krem across the cosmos trying to catch up to him, they're on this taxi-type spaceship, and I think that's what this one is meant to be. What they'll probably do is condense the timeline from the actual comic. The actual comic had them traveling across space for many months, like a very long travel. There's another minor change from the comic book when she starts celebrating her birthday like she does in the comic. Instead of 21 like it is in the comic, it's 23 during this. Technically, she's meant to be older than Superman, but chronologically, like her actual age number is younger than Superman. This is just part of relativity and the way their pods were traveling through space. Zoom in and enhance on the jukebox, there are a couple Easter eggs for some of the songs here. There's a Mighty Crabjoys song. James Gunn loves his fake bands. I'm kind of expecting the Mighty Crabjoys to show up in every single DC project in the background in some way. They're actually Superman's favorite band in context of this new DCU Superman. Loves his punk ska. Speaking of all the punk rock references in the first Superman movie, there's a Teddy Bear's Punk Rocker song on here, which is also a callback to the theme that kindness is the new punk rock. Some of that theme bleeds over into the Supergirl movie with her character too. There's Dance This Mess Around, and then there's the Blondie's Call Me, which plays across the entire trailer. There are a lot of scenes in a couple different bars where you see her get into fights with the space pirates that Krem joins up with during the movie. I think that's meant to be the group of space pirates. In the couple bar fights, we get a scene of Argo City. This is the dome that Zor-El puts over it after the destruction of Krypton that helps it survive Krypton's actual destruction. He's being played, like I said, by David Krumholtz. This is basically all of them rushing as Krypton is about to break apart into a bunch of different pieces. Superman's pod, like I said, has already been fired by
a toasty Thomas's brekkie.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
Huzzah!
So when I run the AI query, I just get this generic answer. It's like the AI's not even using our data. Oh, yeah, it's not. But we have.
We get a scene of Ruthie, who looks a little bit different from her comic book appearance, a little bit younger, but she still has that giant sword that she carries around throughout the comic book. The whole idea is the sword is meant to be the reward for whoever takes her bounty to go kill Krem. So when Supergirl says that she'll do it, she says that she'll give Supergirl the sword after she sees Krem's dead body. When the movie picks up, Supergirl is on Ruthie's planet celebrating her 21st birthday by getting drunk with Krypto there, takes Krypto along with her because Krypto is her dog, not Superman's dog. He was just dog sitting for her during the events of the Superman movie. Ruthie's planet has a red sun, which Superman referenced at the end of the Superman movie. Supergirl likes going to planets with red suns so that she can get drunk. They can get drunk on Earth. It just takes a lot of booze. At the bar, while she's living it up, she meets Ruthie, a young girl trying to avenge her father's death at the hands of Krem of the Yellow Hills, the main villain of the movie, played by Matthias Schoenert. You've probably seen him in a couple other things. Supergirl tries to avoid the responsibility, doesn't want to get mixed up in it, but Ruthie inadvertently gets her involved when Krem follows Ruthie, who's following Supergirl as she's trying to go back to Earth. Krem, thinking Ruthie has hired Supergirl to kill him, and because she and Krypto don't have powers right now under the red sun, Krem is able to wound them and steal her spaceship. Supergirl makes Ruthie think that Krypto is going to die from Krem's poisoned arrow that he gets shot with, they both get shot with, and the only way to save his life, Krypto's life, is to find Krem and get the antidote. So the stakes of the movie, you're led to believe, are Krypto's life. Then to make an Avatar: The Last Airbender Marvel comp, the movie turns into a Thor Ragnarok life-changing field trip across space to different. She could have found him all by herself if she really needed to find him and get the antidote. Krypto was fine the whole time. He was never in danger of dying. And Supergirl had used this whole life-changing field trip to find Krem as a way to help Ruthie deal and process the grief and trauma of losing her father the way that Supergirl had to do after she lost her family in Argo City in Krypton. And during the movie, Krem is meant to be the worst of the worst, like the most despicable kind of villain in the DC universe. He's a former King's agent from Ruthie's homeworld whose job was to travel around the countryside searching for and killing disloyal subjects. When she says Krypton did not die in a day, the gods are not that kind, that's a line taken directly out of the comic book. When you see Supergirl with what looks like all these other Kryptonians, I don't think she's on Krypton. I actually think this is her on Argo City, which is set after the days of Krypton's initial destruction. Part of her really important character arc during the series is processing her grief over losing her people, her planet, and her family. What you find out is that during Krypton's initial destruction, when the planet is in the middle of tearing itself apart, Zor-El, her father, played by David Krumholtz, erects a shield over Argo City, the city that she actually lives in with her family. Manages to keep that alive after Krypton itself is destroyed and breaks apart, and Superman's pod, like Jor-El has sent Superman's pod to Earth already. Shortly after, she starts to notice that people around her, other Kryptonians, are starting to get cancer at an increasing rate, and more people are dying.
Krypton didn't die in a day. The gods are not that good.
They find out that the asteroid of Krypton that they're living on has been irradiated, basically turning into a version of kryptonite, because big kryptonite twist, talking about Superman lore here, slowly begins killing off all the survivors of Krypton in Argo City, so she has to watch her mother slowly die of cancer. It's very traumatic. Then eventually the same thing happens to her father, but as he's dying, like in the process, he creates her pod and then sends her to Earth. So it's a way more PTSD traumatic version of Supergirl's backstory than you saw, say, with like Melissa in the Arrowverse. This is why I think these flashback scenes of what looks like Krypton is actually Argo City. In the casket here is her dead mother, and they're burying her. Them wearing the white also feels like a callback to the Christopher Reeve Superman movies too, in the Helen Slater classic Supergirl movie. We will see if they gave her a cameo in this movie. I haven't heard about any special cameos like that from legacy characters, but they did a lot of those during the Superman movie, so why wouldn't they also do it during the Supergirl movie? So we're getting way more Kryptonian history and backstory and lore, even though it's super messed up the way that she's experiencing and remembering these things that we didn't get during the Superman movie. We got a little bit of Jor-El's message, but they didn't dive too deeply into that yet. During the original comic book, Zor-El also references Jor-El and Superman's pod, so maybe we'll also get some Superman flashbacks to some Jor-El flashbacks. We'll see. When you see her screaming in space here, that means she has her powers back because there's a yellow sun behind her. You can see in the comic, she actually flies directly into a yellow sun and just sits there, just absorbing power, but also just letting all of her anger out and frustration, screaming so that nobody can hear because she is inside a sun. She actually displays some really crazy powers in the comic book. She takes some red kryptonite pills. We'll see if they actually added that stuff to the actual movie. It'd be pretty cool. If you haven't read it, the artwork is beautiful. It's also...
I just saw Jason Momoa. I thought, what is he doing on there? He turned out to be a pretty decent actor, though. A lot of them guys do. Look at The Rock. Well, they say he might be president one day. Huh. Could figure that shit out. Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor of California, so why not? But we'll get one more look over, see if anything else is going on. I'm fixing to check out for tonight, guys. Mythbusters. That was a good show back in the day. Alright guys, I am out of here. I will see y'all tomorrow. Probably during the day, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock, something like that. But y'all be good.